It feels like there's kind of two intense areas of this week. There's going to be kind of around the 3rd on that full moon lunar eclipse. That's going to be an intense part of the week, as well as at the end of the week when we're going to have the Sun-Mercury Cazimi moment with Mercury in retrograde and this Venus conjunct Neptune. It's all this kind of interrelated energy. Anyways, you'll see me talk about that a lot more in depth in this video. Just a reminder that this is meant to be a global mundane forecast and not any kind of a personal, either all signs or sun sign kind of a forecast. I do not do sun sign astrology. Okay, so let's have a look here. We're obviously going to start the week off on Sunday, March 1st, 2026. Okay, so on this day, we're going to have Mercury here, retrograde, in sextile here to Juno in Capricorn. What I get a sense of, this is relating again to like Epstein file stuff regarding these partnerships that have existed. I get an aspect of control that's related with these partnerships as Juno's in Capricorn. It's a very negative, it feels very negative. But what this retrograde is doing is it feels like it's going over these old things that have been revealed, or that's revealing, and these things are coming to the surface, and it's forcing these things to be shifted and changed in a lot of ways. All right, so that's the vibe I kind of get with that energy. Now, also on this day, we're going to have Venus here in semi-sextile to Chiron. This feels, I don't know whether this is like, it almost feels like hidden victim kind of an energy. Because again, we're dealing with that aspect of Chiron, wounds. This is the wounds to the self aspect of what it feels like independence and our like freedom to be who we are. But this relates to, being controlled in some way and not being able to have that independence. But I get a aspect of like women who have been victimized in some way. They feel like young girls. Again, this could be related to Epstein files, or this could be, it probably is, but this is what this feels like to me in some way. It feels like younger women. I get a sense of, it seems like teenage girls or something, and it's just this victimization, but it's been hidden. That Venus in Pisces is relating to what those aspects that have been hidden, but they've been hurt in terms of it's like their independence, like they were controlled, or there's something about that in their, control, in that they weren't able to be themselves or independent. Like there's no independence there, but there was, but it feels like it's coming out. It's like hidden, but it feels like it's coming out. It's like, I really don't think we've seen, well, I know, based on what I've sensed from my astrology surrounding Mercury retrograde especially, is that it's going over these points of how we've been duped, deceived, what's really been going on behind the scenes. And we're really beginning to go over those old ground and realize that, what we once thought was a conspiracy theory was actually a conspiracy fact and not a theory. Okay? And that a lot of this stuff has happened, and a lot of people that, and I've said this before in previous videos, that have been shouting from the rooftops that this shit has been going on. Well, here it is, right? So, yeah. But it's that aspect of like, this stuff isn't going away. I don't feel it's going to go away anytime soon at all, especially because we're in the middle of eclipse season, so there's an intensity to this energy, as well as this is surrounding this Mercury retrograde, which is fully in Pisces. It's fully in Pisces regarding this aspect of deception, things that are hidden, etc. And the stuff that has come out prior and talked about during Mercury being in shadow is going to be reflected through this retrograde and then through post-shadow. So Mercury doesn't leave shadow, post-shadow, until April 9th. So we've got a long way to go yet of this stuff likely still coming up and being dealt with, and even probably beyond that. But this is such I feel like this is happening in this energy to put such a strong focus on this, especially during that retrograde energy, to make it so that it can't go away, so that it's so put into the public realm. It can't be swept under the rug or covered up like they've tried to before. It's like this is going to be continued to keep going to the extent of which that it can no longer go away anymore, and it has to be more will come out and be dealt with, etc. So yeah, that's Sunday. Let's move on to Monday, March 2nd, okay? Of course, this is when we're going to have Mars coming into Pisces. This will happen around 8:19 a.m. Central. Okay, it's just not quite there yet because I have the chart set early for the eclipse the following day. But Mars will come into Pisces. Now, let me just see here. There's something in my eye. Anyway, Mars coming into Pisces. What do we got? It feels like taking action towards revelations or surrounding revelations. Again, those revelations as to what's been hidden. This Pisces energy, what has been hidden. And it's taking action now on those things. This feels positive. It feels like taking action to almost hold people accountable for the things that they've done, the things that have been hidden. That kind of an energy is what I get with this Mars now coming into Pisces, okay? We're also going to have as well, Mars is going to be in this sesqui-square or this super square to Jupiter retrograde. I get a sense that's what's inflating this action-taking kind of a thing. It feels like on the home front, and I get a sense of that's in the US. As that's, I feel this energy with the Epstein files again, and I feel that because it was the DOJ, the Department of Justice, all this is centered on the USA, America, right? Despite the fact that there's people around the world, internationally, that have participated in this disgusting crap. Okay, but it's centered in the US, so that's where I feel this aspect, that's the home front of this. And I'm being drawn to the fact that that's where Epstein's like base was. Like they had like a ranch, I think in like New Mexico, where there was, I don't know where the island was, if it was part of some US owned jurisdiction or sanction or something, I don't know. Okay, but I feel like the home front of this was in the US. That's where it initially was based, and that's where this action is now maybe possibly being taken. I get a sense of that, yes, but personally myself, I almost seem a bit doubtful on that because we haven't seen anything from the American side yet. But maybe this is when it's happening. But even myself, I'm thinking, really? But I mean, we'll see, okay? This is at least what I'm getting with this, and you have to remember that with because I'm getting this intuitively, that when this happens, I'm reading the strongest potential at that time. Okay, I'm getting something else. Is there another thing here? They're saying if not that, then there's taking action to reveal more. There will be pushed for more there'll be more signs of other things to try to push for that action to be taken. Okay, that's another avenue or route of which this could take. All right, so again, just be mindful of that. There's always multiple potentials that exist with these energies, no matter what kind of intuitive reading that you do. People usually just focus on the first one they're getting, which is usually the strongest and the most likely, but remember that there's free will involved and things can shift or whatever, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so that is Monday, March 2nd. Let's move on to Tuesday, March 3rd, and of course this is when we will have this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. Okay, so this, what I strongly feel like is because the moon is on the south node here, this is an extreme letting go of what we once thought was actually serving us. And it feels like it's related to the Epstein files again. All of these billionaire assholes, government people, all of this stuff that was all entangled in this to try to create this control structure to manipulate, whether it was businesses, the economy, the government, and ultimately the people, basically treat us like shit. And all of that structure that we once thought was practical in terms of those corporations, those businesses, economically, all of that stuff, all of those practical things, Virgo, that needs to be released, let go of. Because full moons are a time of release. However, this is a full moon lunar eclipse. So there's a bit of a stronger intensity to this. And I believe this is total, right? Because, we're only 4 degrees away from the actual nodal axis here. So yes, I believe that's a total lunar eclipse. Okay, so there's a bit of I get a sense with that there's a bit more of an intensity to this, to that release and what's been coming out, and that shit has to fucking go away and is not going to be tolerated anymore. I think there's a lot of people that are still trying to wrap their head around what the fuck this is and what is going on, and realizing, holy shit, these conspiracy theorists were actually fucking right. What the fuck? Right? That's the kind of the energy that is like surrounding this. And it's like, we can't let this happen again. This has to get let go of, yada, yada, yada. And with the sun on the north node here saying there's a new path, an unknown path forward. Because all that bullshit and how we've been manipulated and lied to believing, and all the cover-ups regarding those structures that were in place, we're so used to those structures of being that's how society was structured. And now we've just been like blindsided by the truth about what was actually going on. And then it's like, holy fuck. We now have to go in a direction in which we've never been in before. Because all those structures were here to support, to do all of these things, but they really weren't, because they were based off of disgusting, nasty behavior hidden behind a veil to support whatever these things were. It's a fucking mess is what it is, but it has to get let go of. Okay, and it really strongly feels like that. It just letting go of all this nasty fucking crap that is supported what we consider like the modern world and the economy and all of that stuff, when honestly that all needs to die and go away. Something new has to come in its place. We have to head in a new direction that is unknown to us. We don't know what it's going to be or where we're headed, but we know we have to go in that direction. And I've said this before with North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo. Okay, so that's what I get, with this full moon lunar eclipse. Okay, we're also going to have, let me go here, this Mars now in Pisces in semi-sextile to Neptune now in Aries. A little bit of a mutual reception going on here. And then, of course, the semi-sextile. Okay, the mutual reception because Neptune is in Mars' sign, Mars is in Neptune's sign. Okay, let's see what this... I feel like this is more of the uncovering, more of taking action to either uncover or take action on the uncovering, is what I get with these two energies. It's almost like that mutual reception plus that semi-sextile is really pushing the energy of both these signs together. And it's like this action that needs to be taken on what has been revealed, what has come out, a lot of this kind of stuff, action related to those kinds of things. Okay, so that's Tuesday, March 3rd. Let's move on to Wednesday the 4th. And here we're going to have Mercury retrograde in semi-square to Pluto. Okay. Mercury retrograde in semi-square to Pluto. This there's a positive energy driving this, especially this Pluto energy that's really pushing for this transformation and change and this release and this understanding and this awakening that is occurring with this Mercury retrograde in Pisces in terms of this revealing, this kind of an energy, this stuff coming up. There's a wave of like positive support. It feels energetic support, although it feels like it's in the world too, to push for this transformation and this progress that needs to occur based on what has come up, and to push forward and to get rid of this negative stuff and to push forward in a newer direction away from the disgustingness that has been revealed to us. Okay? We're also going to have Venus in sextile to Uranus. Let's see, what do we got? This Pisces energy, it's just so like elusive sometimes, even when it's like sometimes I don't fully understand what the hell is trying to come through here. Venus sextile Uranus, please. I get a sense of changing people. This could possibly relate economically. It relates to money in some way. There's people, it almost feels like being ousted, being like there's a lot of slipping and sliding with Venus and Pisces regarding these people, slipping and sliding. Whether that's slipping in a position, out of position, or just they're just a bit slippery, you know? They're just slipping around, slipping and sliding, not really sure how to behave because of what's been going on. And this sextile to Uranus is that this aspect of like this change, but it feels like something to do with money. Something to do with money. And the people that can't hide anymore. Something surrounding that. It's a bit slippery and anyway, that's Wednesday the 4th. Let's move on to Thursday the 5th here. This is when we're going to have Mars in semi-sextile to Saturn. I feel like this is kind of, this is more of like putting a foot down kind of an energy. I feel that Saturn with this, but it's still relating to that mutual reception of that Mars, Neptune. So like, for example, Neptune is in Aries, Mars is in Pisces, and we're dealing with this like taking action towards revealing stuff. But this is, I'm getting very much this Mars and Saturn, but it feels like there's a positive energy backing this up towards doing the right thing, to take action, to set appropriate boundaries, to be like, okay, like this can't be happening like this or whatever. It doesn't feel like this is in the US though. This feels like somewhere else. From like, I don't know if this is from it doesn't necessarily feel like a government perspective, to be honest. Whether this is maybe from like a people perspective or from like a business perspective, it's just, but it's like, we're not gonna fucking it's like, we're not gonna fucking take it. It's like putting their foot down in some way and taking action in that, and whatever, based on what is, I don't know. This is just, anyway. We're also going to have the Sun in trine to Jupiter retrograde. Okay. Sun in Pisces, trine Jupiter retrograde. I get a sense of like chaos. Of this Pisces, not sure what direction to go in, flowing here, flowing there, that kind of a thing. With Jupiter obviously expanding that. But I feel with this retrograde energy, it's this old stuff that has come up or is coming up, and people don't know what direction to go, and they don't know what to say, they don't know how to. I feel like it's based off of what has come out, and these people that have been called out on these things, they don't know how to respond, or they're responding but they don't know what to say. They can't cover it. They don't know how to cover it up anymore, is what that feels like to me. They don't know how to cover it up anymore. And it feels like this almost like wishy-washy kind of a dance that they're doing to try to go here, say this, go here, say that, go here, say this, then say that, then say whatever. But it's so obvious. And that Jupiter, I feel like the Jupiter energy is making it so obvious because it's expanding this. And the sun is there illuminating this, expanding this, that it can't be hidden anymore. And there's obviously, it feels like there's a positive energy driving this that's like just shining a light on it. That's like, you're just making an ass out of yourself, right? Like, just fucking admit it and deal with it instead of trying. You can't continue the old game anymore. Okay, is what this fucking feels like to me. And again, that Jupiter in Cancer feels like it's related to this home front kind of an energy, which feels like the USA, the home front to where this stuff is happening. So that's Thursday the 5th. Let's move on to Friday the 6th here. Okay, this is when we're going to have Venus coming into Aries. As we can see, Venus is 0 degrees of Aries. Okay, let's, what do we got with Venus coming into it? I feel angry people, instantly angry people. And with that conjunction coming up to Neptune there, based off of hidden things, like what we now know. It feels like what we now know in terms of what has been hidden, what we now know. When there's angry people, it feels like angry people. Angry people. That's all I'm getting with that, is angry people. Yeah, so we're also going to have the sun here in this quintile to Uranus on this day too. Now, this feels like back end changes. Feels like it's going to show up, or we're going to see it, but it feels like these have been happening behind the scenes, or like back end, they feel shady. Back end changes surrounding things to try to cover shit up. But we're seeing it for what it is. This Pisces energy this season, especially with the Mercury retrograde with this, is very, very revealing. And it's kind of, because I feel there's a very positive energy that's backing this energy up. It's not a negative energy that's using it to deceive. It's this positive energy that's backing it up in order to reveal what's behind the curtain. I get like this, you know, the Wizard of Oz when they pull the curtain and it's just some dude pulling the strings. You're seeing who's pulling the strings, right? We're seeing who's behind the curtain. The curtain is okay. The curtain's not there anymore. Okay, it's like you're in the shower and all of a sudden the curtain's been vaporized and people can see your ding dong. That's kind of what this energy is. Okay, so yeah. So that's Friday, March 6th. Let's move on to Saturday, March 7th. And this is when we're going to have this Sun-Mercury Cazimi moment. So Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde. Okay. Just feels like very outspoken anger, awareness of these things that have really been going on. This shit isn't going away. It's not going away. And there's more vocal awareness. There's more like highlighting what has been hidden. This stuff as all that is coming up. Oh my God, excuse me. Oh. I don't know what the hell that's about. But usually when I burp or something like that, it's like kind of like pay attention to this stuff. So maybe that's like whatever, but something's coming up surrounding that. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, we're also going to have, okay, here's where I think the anger part is really coming in with this. This Venus in conjunction to Neptune now in Aries, regarding people angry over what's hidden. And it is, of course, related to the Sun Mercury Cazimi moment in Pisces. You have to remember, Mars is in Pisces, Venus is in Aries. There's that mutual reception, but that energy is now tied together. So we have this Venus conjunct Neptune in Aries, but we've got the Sun Mercury Cazimi in Pisces. But it feels like it's all tied together with that mutual reception and this energy, like I said. And it's this what has been revealed, what we've been seeing, and that there's this vocal, huge awareness. The Sun conjunct Mercury really strongly illuminating what has been revealed, what we've gone over through this Mercury retrograde surrounding this shit, and dealing with angry people, especially with Venus conjunct Neptune here. The awareness of how we've been fucked. Literally, in some cases, well, probably in a lot of cases, and also figuratively, and complete and utter disgust and anger over a lot of this, literally just where we've been fucked. It's where we've been fucked. And had the wool pulled over our eyes in a myriad of different ways. And the deception and the just sheer not giving a flying fuck about the people that have existed in this world. Like this is what I feel that is coming up with this. And through this deception, now the awareness of the deception, these people being angry, Venus and Aries, but conjunct Neptune, about this deceptive kind of an energy. Okay? Regarding what is being revealed and so brought into awareness now with this Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde exact in Pisces regarding what has been coming up and been revealed. Holy fucking shit. We're also going to have Juno in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. Feel like this relates to these controlling partnerships that I've been trying. It's almost related to this outcasted energy. They didn't give a shit about the people that they were affecting or any of that. It's like the whole global population has been outcasted. Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius. The whole global population has been outcasted, minus a select few based on these committed partnerships and contracts and backside deals, sure, etc., that were meant to control and throw everybody to the wayside. And I feel that relates to the anger surrounding that Venus conjunct Neptune and that Sun Mercury Cazimi moment that is also happening on this day. Okay. What an end of the week, huh? We've reached the end of the video, so if you have made it this far in this video, thank you. Thank you so much. If you want to know how this energy is affecting you more on a personal level, as this reading was global mundane, so if you want to know how this is affecting on a personal level, you can get a personal reading with me. All those links are in the description below, or you can head on over to my website, mysticalmark.ca. Anything else I want to say? Oh, if you need to reach out to me in any way regarding a reading or anything like that, or have questions, you can DM me either through Instagram or TikTok, or you can connect with me on Fluxer. It is a Discord clone that is not sus and shady or be using, identification things that are related to people from the Epstein files and all that disgusting stuff that I was already talking about. But anyway, so different platform. That link is in the description below as well. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all in next week's video. Take care, everyone. Bye.